In today's video, we are on the A14 in Northamptonshire. We are on our way to visit one of the best commercial truck stops anywhere in the UK. This particular truck stop opened its doors in 2019, but that was 9 years after the first initial planning permission was sought. The initial planning proposal was rejected on environmental grounds. Alongside the supposed environmental issues, it appears that not everybody in the area was happy with the truck stop being built there. In January 2025, there was a new planning application for further warehousing in the area. This has seen further anger from local residents due to the potential of increased HGV traffic. The bigger question is, how is the A14 dual carriageway expected to cope with so much going on along its route? So let's discuss it. One the trucker's eye.
This is how we do it.
This is the A14 trunk road. It runs from the Catthorpe Interchange just near to Rugby, all the way along to Felixstowe on Britain's east coast, a distance of just under 130 miles. It provides access to and from large parts of Northamptonshire, Cambridgeshire, Suffolk and Norfolk. In my opinion, it's the UK's worst road for not being fit for its own purpose, not least because at the very end of it, we have this place.
Felixstowe is Britain's biggest and busiest container port, not only for imports, but also for the exports that come from the manufacturing centres across the country.
A lot of the HGVs using the A14 to access Felixstowe port will be container traffic. The total value of exports shipped through Felixstowe in 2024 was a cool $9.54 billion. The amount of imported goods that came through the Felixstowe port in 2024 amounted to $46.4 billion US. We're going to be coming back to those imports a bit later in this video. The size of Felixstowe port and the size of the counties alone are enough for most people to realise that a dual carriageway that travels the best part of 130 miles really isn't up to scratch for the purpose it serves. Then when you factor in distribution centres belonging to the companies that are being displayed on the screen right now are also dotted along the A14 corridor, along with the brand new Greggs National Distribution Centre which is currently under construction, you start to get an idea of the bigger picture of why the A14 really isn't fit for purpose. The best and most efficient stretch of the A14 is this piece of road here between Huntingdon and Cambridge. A brand new 12-mile 3-lane section was opened in 2020, and this upgrade has largely allowed traffic to flow freely for the most part of the time anyway. Shortly after the opening of this new stretch of the A14, Cambridge services saw an increase to their HGV parking capacity, and it's the HGV parking capacity along the A14 that we're going to be looking at next. This new Swavesey junction was one of the junctions completed alongside the brand new section of the A14 between Cambridge and Huntingdon. It provided a new access route into the Cambridge service area, which had already sat alongside the old existing A14 for around 20 years. This service area is owned and operated by a company called Extra Services. Extra Services themselves own 10 sites around the UK. They've done particularly well at this site and at their site at Peterborough further north on the A1. At both of these sites, Extra Services has constructed extra parking areas for trucks. As we always say on this channel, more secure truck parking for HGVs is badly needed in the whole of the UK. And in this particular area, that statement was even more poignant when one of our own hauliers made a purchase of their own. Maritime Transport in 2016 had bought Alconbury Truckstop, and within a year they closed the truck parking area off to outside hauliers to use it as their own depot. Over 200 secure HGV parking spaces had gone overnight. At that time, Cambridge Services only had 30 spaces available. Luckily enough, there was another truck stop that was almost ready to be constructed, and that truck stop is Rothwell. Rodwell Truckstop at the junction of the A6 and the A14 was opened in 2019. In my opinion, it's one of the best truck stops that has been opened by one of the big motorway service stations. Not only is the parking area well done, the facilities are also top notch too. They include a bar and lounge area with a free pool table. You wouldn't get that in many pubs. There's also a quiet lounge, along with a gym, both inside and outside. The shop sells truckers' essentials, but one of the nicest gestures I've seen from any service station is the free fruit available to drivers. The one thing I do find a bit strange is that they charge different prices at different welcome break sites. Just as one example, if you were to park in the Rotherham services that we covered a few months ago, you'll pay £35 to park there and receive a £12 meal voucher. As you can see on the screen, to park in the much better Rothwell services, both owned by Welcome Break, you'll only pay £33. The £12 meal voucher really is a good thing for truck drivers. This is one area that the people running the extra services group that we were talking about earlier really could do with upping their game. Drivers who park in extra services don't receive anything in the way of a meal voucher, yet the parking cost is much the same. As we said in the intro, planning permission was initially refused for this truck stop before it actually got the go-ahead. It's almost as if people don't actually understand what massive part HGVs play in every single person's life. Every single person in every single one of those houses in the shot right now will unknowingly be counting on HGVs for most aspects of their general life. And as was pointed out at the Felixstowe port earlier in the video, a lot of those goods are imported, and once they've arrived in the country, they need a place to be stored and distributed from. And that piece of land on the other side of the A14 from Rodwell Truckstop is the next bone of contention for a lot of the residents at Rothwell. So as you can see, this is the BBC News website, and this is the article about the objections to the new proposed warehousing that's going to be built at Rothwell on the A14. The company behind the plans claim that the development will create up to 3,000 jobs. Right across the UK, this seems like the done thing at the moment. They will build residential areas and then warehousing almost adjacent to it. But with the A14 only being a dual carriageway and already cracking massively under the pressure of oversubscribed traffic levels, how many more developments, whether industrial or residential, is it going to take before somebody actually realises that the A14 is a massive problem that urgently needs addressing? Without Rodwell Truckstop being built, 200 trucks will be looking for somewhere to park around the area. Drivers wouldn't have facilities, and that could have created a bigger problem, even though I'm sure a lot of people local to the area might not have thought what would happen if it hadn't have been built. Doing nothing with the A14 isn't an option. Just before we end the video, there is one story further along the A14 near to Ipswich that we certainly need to look at. When the Orwell Truckstop was open, truckers had a place to park for the night. The truck stop was closed and the land was sold off. This left the residents of Felixstowe Road in Nacton looking at this. This is the view from the A14, but the news story also hit the BBC.
I honestly cannot say in words what this monstrosity behind me has had on our lives. It's an abomination on the area. It doesn't fit with the area.
I've basically been devastated by it. I open my curtains and it's all I see. It's like having a prison wall at the bottom of your garden. I have shed more than a few tears trying to learn to live with it. It should never have built near anybody's homes because it is just so large.
I wonder how many of those residents weren't happy with the truck stop being there in the first place. Sometimes, I suppose, it's better the devil you know. So it's time for you lot to get your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think needs to happen with the A14 going forward? What do you fellow truckers think are the best services along the A14 corridor? Do you prefer the bigger services, or do you like the small independent ones such as Welford? I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. I'll see you all next time. One trucker's eye.